did. I know I am. Ocala Aviation. Your adventure starts here.
Ocala's information station, 1370 WOCA.
Ocala.
All right, 5 minutes after 11 o'clock. Thank you for tuning in this Thursday morning. We have in the studio some guests who are going to tell us about some health services in our community. Brittany Marthaller is the communications manager at Ocala Health, and she invites regularly some guests to come in here and talk to us about the health services that we have at our disposal. And today she has invited Randy McVay, who is the CEO of Ocala Health, and Ginger Carroll, who is the CEO of West Marion Community Hospital. So good morning, Brittany, and good morning to our guests, Randy and Ginger. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
All three of you. How is everybody? Good?
Terrific.
Good. Beautiful day.
How are the hospitals? They're doing good?
Doing good.
And Brittany, do you go back and forth between them all?
I am all over the place. In addition to, the two hospitals, we do have family care specialists and advanced imaging centers, as well as our physician specialty practices. So we have a surgical group and a vascular surgery and heart and lung surgery, neurology, neurosurgery. So I am all over.
Well, you couldn't have a better person to represent you to the media than Brittany, let me tell you.
We know that.
You knew that already, huh?
With Brittany.
Now, Robin has a story, and I will take Brittany's cue, not do the talking, because it's Robin's story, really. I've been to both hospitals, but not as a patient, as I mentioned during the thing, but she was. And explain what happened and how you used the call nurse. What's it called again?
Consultant nurse.
The consultant nurse line, yeah. With your...
Oh, yeah, because I came in one day and my face was down, and Larry said, "What's the matter with your face?" I didn't know, so he took me to West Marion Hospital, and the young man that was there, he said, "Oh my gosh, come on back." So he took me back, and they didn't know if it was a stroke or what it was, but it was not. It was Bell's palsy, and you guys at West Marion fixed me up really good, zip, zip, zip. I was in and out, and you're absolutely incredible. Great, thank you. We
Wow,
appreciate
that was fast.
I didn't hear that.
It was just, she was in and out quicker than it took me to read the meatloaf recipe in the magazine that was sitting in the waiting room. It's just my joke. But anyway, it was very quick, and they right away. You know how normally when you go to, because. Robin just told you the story so quick that she didn't realize that how worried I was. Because when I saw that drooping thing, I thought stroke. Because what do I know? Mm-hmm. And I guess the gentleman at the window there also saw that this was something that might need to be urgently taken care of.
I believe it was Travis.
I think you're right.
Travis.
I think you're right. And he had been a guest in here too.
Yeah.
Because in fact, he addressed Robin by name and was like, "Whoa, you're famous."
Personal service there.
Yeah.
So let's talk about the two hospitals. Do we often think of them as as the West Ocala as the satellite of the one downtown? Not true?
It is true.
Oh, it is true.
It is true.
Okay.
Absolutely true. We are one hospital system, and we have a second location out at West Marion, and we've been there since 2002, operating a full-service hospital. But we certainly, the mothership is Ocala. So,
but you are expanding out there too. You've got a lot of construction going on.
We are. We're in the process of adding 24 additional medical surgical beds. In addition to that, we are starting some cardiovascular services there. We are opening the first cath lab out for West Marion, so we're excited about that.
Oh, what is that? What's the
Cardiac Cath Lab is the opportunity for patients who present with chest pain, rule out heart attack, those kinds of things, and they need a little more diagnostic work done. They often go to a cardiac cath unit where the physician is able to do a procedure that gives them a good look at how the coronary arteries look and whether there's a blockage. So
when somebody needs an ambulance, do they just go to the nearest hospital? How does that work? How does the ambulance driver know where to go?
Well, if the patient is cognizant, they ask them where they would like to go. Otherwise, they take them to the nearest receiving facility that can render the care that they believe is needed for the patient.
Oh, I see. And do the ambulances work for the hospitals, or how does that work?
No, they're operated by Marion County Fire Rescue EMS Services.
Oh,
And
part of
Ocala
Marion
Fire Rescue as well.
Yeah.
okay. I should have known that actually. So the building we're seeing also in the building downtown, right? You're expanding over there as well. Is that part of the same thing?
A good question. Appreciate that. We have two very large additions going on. One at West Marion, as Ginger just mentioned. At Ocala Regional, we're actually adding on a 56,000 square foot addition to the main campus. Adding 34 intensive care unit beds.
Oh, wow.
And then doing some significant interior renovation in several parts of the building. So we'll increase our bed count at Ocala Regional by 22 beds when everything is finalized and opened. And we'll have 48 critical care beds to take care of the needs of the community at Ocala Regional when we're finished.
Do you have more patients when the snowbirds come down?
We do. We see an increase in volumes, usually starting in the October period of time, and that'll run through probably early part of April. It's not as significant of a swing in volumes as it used to be in this area. We have a lot of folks today that live here year-round, but you do see an uptick in volumes in the fall and winter and early spring.
And you take care of a lot of trauma also.
We're one of the busiest trauma centers in the state of Florida now. For 2014, we finished just under 2,400 total trauma patients.
Oh, wow.
About 35 to 40% of those were trauma alerts, which means they're called in the field at the scene as a very ill, sick patient or injured patient. So we're very busy trauma center. Very obvious that that was a needed service for this part of the state.
Yeah, I know. And why it was controversial, nobody will ever know, right?
Well,
but
we spent a lot of time talking about that.
Yeah.
But,
Robin's husband was in the hospital also, and this has nothing to do with health. It has to do with the floor. It was beautiful wood flooring.
Yeah.
Is it the whole I don't know if it was just the floor he was on, but I was thinking, wow, a hospital with a wood floor. I thought that was kind of cool.
That must have been at Ocala Regional. We do
Yeah.
have some flooring that's wood in nature across.
Wood in nature?
Yeah.
It's not really wood?
Some of it is, depending on what part of the building. Some of it's simulated, but yeah, we do that.
But
on
I mean,
some of the
it's
in-place.
whoever your janitor is gets a raise. He's, really doing a good job. I mean, you would think that would be a hard substance to take care of in a hospital. What are the hot topics right now that are happening in the two hospitals? I mean, what's like every once in a while you hear people talk. Like this morning, there was a story about protons being used to treat cancer. Mm-hmm. So do we have when we hear about new technology, how long does it take to get into the hospitals that we use?
Well, what we have going on at Ocala Health, we've mentioned trauma. That was a new service that's come online a couple of years ago. Ginger can speak a bit more to graduate medical education, which is a new item for this area for educating physicians, and we're excited about that. That'll begin in July of this year at both campuses, housed on the Ocala Regional Campus. So that's an exciting service for the community, certainly, and for Ocala Health, and we're excited about that.
Oh, really? Because one of the things that we do regularly is we speak to doctors and scientists who have like some breaking news about something in the health field. And then I will always say, well, why are you talking to radio people about this? I mean, is it for the average person, or do you need to reach the doctors who don't even know about this yet? So in other words, what's it called,
Graduate medical education.
Graduate. Mm-hmm. So that's what that's for, is to keep everybody up to date on the newer things?
Well, what happens with graduate medical education is when a medical student completes his or her education program, they have a residency period that they have to enter into, which is where they work with faculty to see patients and care for patients under the direct supervision of what we call core faculty, or an experienced physician who's not only experienced in providing care for patients, but is also experienced in the teaching of other doctors. So we are starting that program. We have been working on putting the program together for over 2 years now. It's a long process because there's a lot of compliance things you have to work through, and there's a lot of regulations that are related to the education program. But we're pretty excited because we're going to be getting an opportunity opportunity to make a difference, we think, in the future doctors that will hopefully be treating patients in Marion County. They won't all stay, but we hope to capture some of the brightest and best new doctors, and that we're excited to have an opportunity to be part of their development. And our medical staff is also engaged in this process, and they're very excited. So when you say new stuff, they're going to be learning, they're going to be continuing their education process and how to be great doctors, and we're going to have a part of making that happen, and we're pretty excited about that.
And the rest of us love this kind of information because it means that we've got the best right here. Mm-hmm. And you know how we know this? We know this. We had a doctor up in Pennsylvania. Was it in Philadelphia or Pittsburgh?
In Philadelphia.
We were saying, so do we have to go to you for your service? He right away said, no, you've got some great doctors right there in Ocala. He knew. Mm-hmm. Somehow, I guess you guys keep in touch with each other. Can we take a little break? Just have to take a little break for the weather, and we'll be right back with Randy McVay, Ginger Cara, and Brittany Marthaller. We'll be right back.
Hey, Matt, I know Sunrise Automotive does auto stuff, but I need some tires for my truck. Can you recommend someone?
Yes, I can. We do that.
No, I mean, I need them installed and balanced and all that.
Yep, we do that.
Well, my son needed his windows tinted.
Yep, we do that.
I need my seat replaced.
Yep, we do that too.
I need a new roof line, and a new spoiler, and a new trunk.
We can even do that too.
Okay, I get it. I suppose you can also do a radio show too, huh?
Well, as a matter of fact, join me every Monday at 10 for auto repair with personal care here on The Source.
Of course you do.
What do you need?
Disease control.
What do you get?
Disease control.
Copper ions do the trick.
Copper ions do the trick.
Killing fungus mighty slick.
Killing fungus mighty slick.
On better copper I am sold.
On better copper I am sold.
Champ ion turns crops to gold.
Champ ion turns crops to gold.
Smaller. Copper. Tell your sister, tell your mother. Champ ion has got you covered.
Got more covered, don't you know? You got better disease control.
Recruits, ask your retailer for Champ Ion or go to newfarm.com. Always read and follow label instructions.
Hoo-ah!
You've got a garden and we've got a show for you called You've Got a Garden with your host, Master Gardener Carol Ann Baldwin. Carol Ann answers your questions about your flowers, your veggies, your grass, your trees, even questions about your bugs. And she's only on WOCA, so don't miss Carol Ann Baldwin and You've Got a Garden each Tuesday from 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. right here on WOCA The Source.
We are The Source, WOCA.
WOCA.
Hi, my name is Dr. Erica Alstein with A Better You Healthcare Acupuncture and Eastern Medicine. As primary care physicians, we use acupuncture to treat back pain, arthritis, migraines, allergies, high blood pressure, thyroid disorders, hormone imbalances, stress, and more using all natural medical therapies. We treat the source of your problems, not just your symptoms. For more information, go to abetteryouhealthcare.com or call today to set up your appointment, 352-615-5566.
All right, 18 minutes after 11 o'clock. One of the blessings we have in doing this show, Robin, is that Brittany Marthaller brings us some great guests. It makes our job easy. Our whole day is basically spent looking for guests, so Brittany helps us out. She brought two more great guests, Randy McVay and Ginger Cara. Randy is the CEO of Ocala Health, and Ginger is the CEO of West Marion Community Hospital. Those are sister hospitals, or whatever you say there. I mentioned the wood flooring, and it was kind of a nutty left field kind of a thing. But then off during the break, I mentioned that because this is kind of what I really wanted to say, is that it felt homier than an institution type feeling. And I know it's just floor, but it really kind of made it feel a difference. And I noticed in my notes that part of the whole mission, I guess, statement is what the patient experience. So that's kind of what you were explaining, Ginger, isn't that?
It is.
That's part of it.
Part of the healing process, like I say, is not only great physician care and great nursing care and care from all the ancillary departments, but it's also caring for the patient experience in terms of making them feel comfortable, answering questions, making sure that the family has their needs met also. And doing that in an environment where you feel better also makes the healing process easier. So it is about the patient experience.
And it's not only about the doctors and nurses, but about housekeeping, about the people that deliver the meals. I mean, just somebody to come in and say hi, and then they just chat and then they leave. And that rapport is really wonderful.
Everybody on the team at both of our campuses and across the health system they have that as part of their core.
And you literally, well, not literally, that's the wrong choice of the word, but you are under a microscope, figuratively speaking. We get reports. There's a book that gets sent to us every year about this thick, and it lists all the hospitals in the country. And you look at them, and it'll tell you who's good at what, and that kind of thing. And the hospitals in Marion County always are showing good. In fact, there was a negative report put out on the internet. I'm pointing to the computer because this is where I read it. Oh. and we weren't on that negative report. None of the hospitals in Ocala were. So I thought that was kind of cool too.
I've said for years here, the citizens of Marion County is very fortunate with the healthcare providers across the spectrum.
Why is that? I mean, what do we attract? Just good doctors? How is?
It's an attraction of very good physicians and nursing staff. We have good nursing schools in this area. Ocala's been an area that has drawn folks into Ocala for healthcare for many, many years here. And as you do that, you continue to build up the professional competence of everyone.
And you have a lot of recognitions that come across for both hospitals in town. It goes everywhere from safety to performance. Could you elaborate on some of that?
We're very proud of some of those designations. I'll talk about two or three that's related to quality and those types of performances, and then we can talk a little bit about safety. But Leapfrog is an organization, a national organization across the country that's made up of manufacturers and other entities that run businesses. They do a grading annually on healthcare providers in the country, and we've received a grading of A since they started doing that 4 years ago. So we're very proud of that because it looks at very, very many types of initiatives that you're undergoing and the type of care you render. So that's one of the ones.
They couldn't come up with a better name than Leapfrog?
Leapfrog's the name of the organization. I'm not sure the genesis for that. We're a 100 top hospital by Truven Health Analytics. That's a third-party entity that across the spectrum of safety, quality, mortality, and financial operations that grades the hospitals in America. And we've been named a top 100 top hospital 3 of the last 4 years. And so that's we're proud of that. And we're a top performer operation under Joint Commission requirements and designations, and we're very proud of that.
Are you both physically walking around the hospital, and I mean, you're involved with everything, and do you have to be educated constantly? Because you looking into a room, you don't know what you're looking at, that kind of stuff?
Well, I don't think we're educated on, obviously how to care for the patient, but what we are educated on is what the quality expectations are of the organizations. So we're able to support our staff with more education. We also round a lot. I mean, one of the things I think that we're committed to is being visible to the staff and to patients and family members. We maintain a very open door policy so that people can come in and share with us if they have any concerns, both our employees and visitors. Yeah, we walk around a lot. We're looking for how are we doing, and we're asking our employees, how are we doing? What concerns you today? What can I help you with? What are your needs today?
And they would know. They're the ones.
And they are not afraid to say.
So when you get the plaques, when you get the awards, who gets them? Which hospital gets them?
Usually comes to administration, and we make sure they're put up where folks can see them, and we always make sure that our staff are fully aware of them, because quite frankly, without our staff, we wouldn't be anything. Yeah. So, and Larry, to your question, I always need education. Trust me on that one. So, one of the best parts of my job and our job for Ginger and I is getting out and walking through the buildings. We don't manage the suites. We manage the hospital operations and our physician practices and imaging centers, and that's the best part of the job, is getting out and really understanding what's going on in the organization and supporting. Our role is to support the folks that take care of people.
And I didn't mean to cut you short. I know you have some more awards that you want to tell us about, but I think the importance, again, to us, the average person, is that the awards are our way of knowing that somebody else besides us or our neighbor has looked at what you do and given you some kind of recognition and accolades, I guess is the word, right?
Yep.
Yeah, and a lot of them look from a comprehensive perspective, not only the metrics that you would normally, the data that they would receive, but they look at feedback as well. So they're, your friend or your neighbor may tell you about an experience that matters to you because you have that trust relationship, but you can also trust some of these third-party entities to look at it from a broad perspective.
Oh, yeah.
As well.
And you know who I imagine looking this up? The son who lives up in Detroit, whose mom is living down here.
Exactly.
And he doesn't trust, because he hears all these horror stories about the rural South, which is, of course, they're not true, but still, he hears these stories and he thinks he knows better. He goes online, oh, well, you're fine, Mom. You look at these reports, right?
That happens frequently.
I bet it does. And those reports cover the whole country, correct?
They do.
The awards. Mm-hmm. So when you say top 100, that's of the whole country.
It's of the whole country.
Wow. How many hospitals in Florida alone, do you know?
I don't know how many is in Florida. There's a little over 5,000 across the country.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
And safety is extremely important, not just from the patient, but from the employee point of view also.
For the staff. One of the most recent items that we've rolled out in the organization related to patient falls, because that's always a concern with the demographics we have here in Marion County, is we just brought in new beds or newer beds into the organization across the both campuses that can literally lower themselves within inches of the floor if we have a patient that may be at risk for falling. So that's that's just an example of what we try to do.
And do we, as the patient, do we control that?
You can control that, or our staff can control.
See, I would have fun with that, up and down. So when we get the public service announcements to announce like a speech, like somebody's coming to do a speaking event at the hospitals, do you have a lot of them? There's a lot. There are reasons people go to the hospital without being sick. There's educational opportunities for us, the public, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, we do. Community education and outreach, where our physicians and our nurse practitioners will go around the community. We also have our Senior Wellness Community Center, which is where Anna is, that has come in before, and bring the education out to the community. And it's not always an urgent situation that brings you to the hospital. There are your elective procedures like a knee replacement or hip replacement, something like that. So people will, they're looking for that information. They're looking to do their research. So we like to help in that process.
The high schools have a job shadowing program every year with the seniors. Do you encourage them to come out to West Marion and Ocala Regional to see if this is the career that they really want to embark on?
We just had a class of, it was just under 40, I believe, young leaders of Marion County that spent about 4 hours with us the other evening. And part of that was to expose them to healthcare, because a lot of folks, when you hear healthcare, it's physicians and nurses. Well, there's a whole host of careers in healthcare. And we try to do that with some of the younger folks, just so that they have a little bit of an idea of what goes on in healthcare.
Do the outreach activities, Brittany, do you have like a calendar that our listeners could maybe find on the internet or something like that?
Yes, our website, if you go to ocalahealthsystem.com,
okay,
and you'll go to the events tab and you can find it there, or you can always call our consultant nurse line, and you can also register for any of the seminars that we have with that line. It's 800-530-1188.
It's a great line.
Yeah.
They gave Robin instructions right away. They said, get to the hospital.
Yeah. Yes, a registered nurse will answer the line. Obviously, if it is something urgent, they'll tell you right away. So really, it's if you're having a pain or you're just not sure about something, they can even help to get you connected to a physician as well.
Where is the nurse? Is it in Ocala? Is the person who answers the phone here?
No, it is a call center that we have.
Oh, I see.
But
Okay.
it is a free service to our community.
I like looking at the billboards too from West Marion because it posts on there the time to wait in the emergency room. It's always under 10 minutes. It's just really.
And I always look at that and say, I hope I don't need that information. I hope I don't need to know that.
And that's why we put that out there. We've been very upfront with releasing that information, and we also keep that on our website as well. In the top right corner, you'll always see that.
Oh, is that right?
That's what we strive for, to get the care for the patients as quick as possible.
Is that like a challenge for the two of you to keep that time down?
It can be a little competitive at times, yes.
Yeah. Brittany, thank you again for bringing us some great guests, as always. Brittany Marthaller, Ginger Carroll, so nice to meet you. Thank you for coming in. I feel like we met before.
Probably have.
Forgive me if I don't remember. And Randy McVay, thank you for coming in.
Thanks for having us.
And thank you for the bigger thank you. Thank you for what you do for all of us with these services. Okay?
Thank you.
We will take a little break. We'll be right back.